It's been a really good couple of weeks. I just got back from a holiday in Poland, spent a week there, ate lots of pierogi, very nice. My local football team, Crawley, won the playoffs. We're now in the dizzying heights of League One. Come on, you Reds. My channel is officially 1 year old now, still young, still small, but growing all the time. And my campaign has now officially reached 35 sessions, which is now the longest D&D campaign that I have ever been part of. The previous longest was actually the campaign that I was DMing myself. I'll link to my thoughts on that campaign in the doobly-doo now. But yeah, in that campaign I took my group all the way from level 1 to level 10 over 34 sessions, and well, if you do the math, you'll see that 35 is one more than 34. So yes, this is now the longest campaign. And it's a good one. And we've got a new cat. His name is Merlin. He is 11 weeks old, and he is adorable. And a bit of a pickle as well. There you go. So yeah, it's going really well. As for what's going on in the campaign, well, I died. But I'm all right. Very often in Dungeon of the Mad Mage, you have these, they kind of go in sets of 3. You have one session where you're kind of exploring this new area, getting the lay of the land. You have another session where you're kind of deciding who it is you want to ally with, and you kind of understand the situation, and you're then making a play for that. And then finally you have the third session on the floor, which tends to be kind of a boss fight, wrap up, get some loot. So it won't surprise you to know, given the fact that this was the third session that we've spent on this floor, that indeed it was a case of boss fight, get some loot. In this particular case, the boss fight was against a whole bunch of drow. There were like 16 of them. There were a few demons fighting against each other. And as we entered the room, we kind of saw members of House Freth and House Overindar kind of at loggerheads with each other fighting. And we just kind of decided to kind of stay back from that and just let the fight play out. And then we would then step in and kind of take down the victors, assuming that they would then be a little bit weakened by their previous fight and would have burned some resources. So that went very well. We jumped into the fight, we fought them off. It was all going swimmingly until, of course, the use of magic in the area summoned this Behir into the room. And this Behir, it turned out, had been magically enchanted by Pallister, so that it was basically an anti-wizard Behir. He was magically enchanted, so he could only stay on this floor, and he would specifically hunt down wizards. We do, of course, have a wizard in our party now. And he was a kind of lightning bolt shooting Behir, quite a dangerous one. At first, the fight was going really, really well, until, unfortunately, this Behir fired off a lightning bolt. My character failed the saving throw against that and took 66 points of lightning damage, which was the exact number of HP that he had. And I'm literally just now realizing that I did actually have my reaction and I should have used Tomb of Levistus. I hate it when you afterwards think about what you should have done in a session. That was a really dumb play. Anyway, I didn't do that. And so my character went down. He was unconscious. Fight was carrying on absolutely fine without me. We were already one player down because he wasn't in the group that day. And so everyone was it was just 3 people in the party, the rogue, our 2 rogues rather, and the wizard, the blade singer, Virtue, who in this fight, I've got to say, he was the absolute MVP. And despite the fact that my character was basically unconscious for about 2/3 to 3/4 of the fight, they handled it just fine. The 3 of them together. Actually, it was even less than that, because one of the rogues, Tix, he basically spent the first couple of rounds of combat trying to disengage from the combat. He was like running away, and he was like, yeah, I'm going to get as far away from this fight as possible. It was basically just the blade singer and the frog together, but they were able to, fair play to them, some really good combinations of abilities and just working really well. And they were able to pull together, take down all the drow, take down the demon frog thing, and take down the Behir. Very, very nice, well-earned loot at the end of it. My character was unconscious, was failing death saves. I don't roll death saves in my campaign, I should point out. I've asked my DM to roll them for me, secretly, so I never know what he's rolling. But yeah, basically I was very low on my death saves, and there was like a demon bearing down on me. It would have automatically hit, automatically crit, I would have been dead. But luckily, I was spared that basically by the DM being nice to me and realizing I don't really want my character to die. So he's like, fine, the demon's just going to leave you alone because he thinks you're not worth his trouble. But yeah, really, I should have been dead. It's always the case when you paint a figure, when you bring a miniature to the table that you've actually painted, that is always the most dangerous session. It's like an unwritten Murphy's Law. A painted figurine at the table, far more likely to die than an unpainted piece of plastic. Little pro tip there. I don't know why, I don't make the rules, I just roll the dice. After that, we got some loot, as I say. We went down to the next level and we leveled up, which is amazing. So yeah, I'm now 1 level of fighter and 11 levels of warlock. I got my a 6th level spell. It's amazing, I've never had 6th level spells before, it's incredible. And there was a time for a nice little bit of role play. Always happens when people level up. There's a little bit of a chance for role playing in the party. And in this particular case, because I'd been marking my victims with the symbol of Klabu, which, as I mentioned in a previous video, kind of looks like a childish version of Kronos, who used to be in the party because my god has his face. Long story. Watch this video if you're interested. So I was marking my victims with the sign of my god, and Tix, who in his backstory is looking for Kronos, he kind of sees this and he's like, that looks a lot like the guy that I'm looking for. Yeah, he used to serve with me on the boat that we used to sail. Jenny from the block. And I'm like, oh, you used to serve with my god Klabu? Like, is this possible? He's like, yeah. Well, he kind of, he kind of worked for us. And let me point out, I specifically built this character in a particular way. My character will never roll an insight check ever. I have declared it openly. He will automatically fail any insight that he is required to take. He is as gullible as they come. And so he now fully believes that Tix is actually like a member of his god's pantheon in human form before his eyes, that his god has come down. Like there's, in his mind now, all of the gods travel together on this boat, the Jenny, which is like basically heaven, I guess, floating at sea. And from this boat, these mighty godlike champions have emerged. One being Klabu, my god, and the other being Tix. That's what he believes now. So yeah, he was fully. Also, of course, because my character was knocked out during the fight, he felt incredibly embarrassed that this was his chance to like deal a deathly blow to the drow that he hates, and to deal a deathly blow to this Aboleth that they were fighting, and he'd failed utterly. He'd failed his god, but this mighty wizard, this sword of Klabu, had emerged to do what he could not. And so now he is basically, he has sworn himself to protect Virtue, who is now the in his mind anyway, the bright shining sword of Klabu, his god. So yeah, King of the Frogs, shining sword of Klabu, Tix, another god from his pantheon, and a cowboy that fires guns. That's the party right now. So yeah, we went down to the next level. This one was another kind of natural, kind of cavern-like space, kind of like a cave. and but the thing that made it different was the room was very full of fog, so like everywhere to like a foot high there was fog, very thick in the air, and so we were just kind of making our way slowly through, kind of, you know, feeling the ground, seeing if there's anything we missed. We came across the head of a shield guardian just lying on the floor, and at this point Tix, mighty member of my god's pantheon, he cast locate object to see if he could find the rest of the shield guardian that this head belonged to. And so he was like, yeah, I'm going to, and so the DM was like, okay, so what specifically are you looking for? And he's like, I'm looking for the rest of a shield guardian. And he was like, okay. The spell pings, it points to shield guardian. He's like, oh, yeah, that's a bit of a waste of a spell slot, wasn't it? But no, it was a good try. I guess he wanted to figure out what it was that destroyed this shield guardian, if he could. Then later, he he wasted another spell slot because he used detect magic in a room that was entirely magical. So he's like, yeah, there's magic in this room. It's a magical room. So both times it was like, okay, I've wasted a spell slot to basically achieve nothing there. Rogues can't ritually cast, I don't think, so yeah, he was a bit screwed there. But yeah, so basically we didn't get very far through this floor. The session was mostly just this massive boss fight that we did. But yeah, we made a little way through. We found a few things. We found a lute which had like a broken neck and a silver inscription on it. I'm sure it's important to some sort of quest that we've completely missed somehow. There was a will-o-wisp at one point, which was kind of like, you know, shining, and we decided to follow it because, you know, will-o-wisps kind of like Navi from Legend of Zelda. Hey, listen! So we decided to follow it. It actually led us into a room where there was like combat encounter. So that was good. Yeah, so really that's kind of where we left things. As I said, we didn't get very far through the floor. And as I've also mentioned, you know, the first session on a new floor is just about kind of getting the lay of the land. Session 2, which we're coming into now, should be a little bit more figuring things out. So I'm excited to know that, because of course this floor is very important for my character, because there is someone on this floor that he's been asked to meet by the Harpers. So I'll be looking out for that. So yeah, until next time, thank you for watching as always. If you've enjoyed this, do give it a thumbs up. Otherwise, you know, stick around, and we'll be doing some more content very soon. Take care.